joined today by my sister's boyfriend, Woody. Yep, and we're recording an episode in which I've just discussed with Woody this morning that we're going to launch this YouTube channel. And honestly, want to understand his opinion and chat with him. We connected on the fact that we both feel like we are a multitude of inner voices.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to start. I was discussing, I recently did a soul retrieval kind of ritual where I called back parts of myself that are shamed and taboo and told them I love them unconditionally and that they have a home inside of me and that I can be a safe place for them.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that resonates with you.
Yeah, it's like usually I like joking about things, but I do think there's a lot of it's almost like I can't respond to that in an insincere way because I do, even if it can sound kind of comical, I believe in it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like, I think it's very important to accept that we're all capable of harm and scary bad things, to use binary language, and accept that I think like true empathy requires knowing that we're capable of that. Forgive ourselves, forgive people. It's part of my sort of, we talked about the what did you say, are all a multitude of voices.
Yeah.
My, if you will say, spiritual journey has been the realizing, I told it to Nick, I said we're all different microbiomes being influenced by external reactions. So when I started viewing people like that, I started to have a lot more forgiveness for, myself and others.
So in your microbiome, is there a particular persona voice that you feel has recently come back to roost within you, has been recently accepted?
That's an interesting one. My gut, well, funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gut.
would say the need for independence, like an independent self. Still in the, like accepting relationships, I value relationships and that.
Yeah.
But I think some people, they like to be in service of other people. Mm-hmm. And I used to always feel like I was selfish and bad for wanting to sort of, I guess, prioritize my independent narrative, I would say.
Yeah.
And I've sort of started to question, is that necessarily bad?
Yeah.
I don't know if
that totally makes sense. I'm almost like kind of wondering from like an archetype perspective, for you at least, like does that character kind of wear any specific outfit, or like are they embodied for you in any specific like character in a movie or book or something?
That's a funny question. It's sort of like the archetype of the like wandering musician.
I'm kind of a minstrel bard character.
Kind of, yeah. Or like in the most kind of ridiculous way, like the drunk bar band guy.
Oh.
Not that that's what I want to be, but I think that's sort of like the scary version of it,
Oh, sure. Like the person who's gone, so that's like maybe the shadow of it is like they're drunk because like that's just how they need to be to relate to people.
And like they're stuck in a sort of time capsule of their life.
Yeah.
Because I think having your own narrative, I think what I'm going on a tangent now.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to figure out is your personal creative narrative that I view as independence. How can that move along life? Like, can you have your own independent life in conjunction in a communal setting? I guess is kind of what I'm wondering.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, there's the tension. So you're seeing this archetype has tension with a community, maybe potentially a land-centered community.
Yes.
Because the bard's wandering, and
There's some element to that, yeah.
You kind of ask yourself like, I listened to a beautiful podcast recently in which they were questioning this idea that you always have to have connection to land as part of your deep spiritual approach, because couldn't the whole wandering like connection to the fact that you're moving through Earth actually be the thing that might actually soothe you and connect you to the planet, not a specific place. And this person was bringing up the fact that for the Romani people, they have an origin story in which when God gave different parts of the world to different peoples, he gave, let's say, Saudi Arabia to the Arabs and gave another part to another group of people. He gave the Romani the road.
Oh, that's cool.
And so for them, like, the road is their homeland.
Yeah.
And they're always walking.
Right. There are many. There's different kinds of. It just makes me think of I don't remember the name of it, but there's a sect of Hasidic Jewish group that believe that they should always be wandering as well.
That the road could be their home. And so there's a tension, though, with the typical minstrel, wandering musician archetype between them and the home, the person who is like the housekeeper archetype, the
Sure.
Homeowner who is organizing and structured member of society. But you did mention something else that I found interesting to go double click on, of the alliance between the wandering minstrel and the hero. There's a bit of like a hero's archetype, a hero's journey archetype thrown
Sure.
in there,
Yeah.
of like every quest wants to have like a minstrel that is like telling their story as they go along the way.
Yeah. I like that. That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I think it's almost like how much of it is narrating your story as you're going on it. So it's like I think that's one of the things that I like about doing music is you're constantly reflecting and telling your story in what feels like in real time, or just a little lag behind real time.
Oh, yeah. It's like how the artist is so, the artist's approach to transmuting experience into your creative voice is so tied to your own hero's quest.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like a beautiful collection of archetypes. And where this conversation originated was in me sharing with Woody that the underlying goal of this channel is to completely accept all the inner parts of us and to be witnessed in that acceptance. The idea of bringing the inner work that we're doing to a channel and in which to be witnessed, and whether that's even possible. Like, is trying to do this in a potentially performative way on screen actually undermining doing the work and potentially going to push parts of us offline that we thought we were bringing in, but actually like push them deeper into the shadow because we have potentially a fear of them actually being witnessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what you said about trying to, right, because there is this sort of weird, I like that you acknowledge the third or fourth wall here.
Yeah.
You have to, or else you seem like a total idiot. But, or, I think that's a little harsh, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different container. Like, us two talking and walking and no one else hearing us, we can definitely have a different container than knowing that this is going to be saved into bits with any possible person, including our descendants, being able to watch this.
Yeah.
And that really changes the leakiness of what we're talking about and how we want to present ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's so scary to me that I'm going to try to be completely accepting of all parts of me that want to come in and be here, with the fact that it also could be witnessed.
Right, yeah, because you want to, most of the time, hide the less flattering selves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what you were saying. I don't know if this is exactly what you were getting at, but in your desire for this project to have people actually go through their experience with this in real time, sort of is what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an honorable goal.
Yeah, like this right now, we have a few questions we plan on asking each other. Like, that's scripted, but the rest is very much like we're gonna go deep and uncover things, and yet I think that what's going to crystallize still is what things we recognize maybe aren't serving us on the mission of being witnessed and doing the work. Maybe there are certain limits we do want to set of like, we already talked about this on our walk. Like maybe there are parts of us that would get a shadow banned if we did,
Right.
if we did bring them up. Like,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
like we want to be able to have the ability to completely accept all of us on a platform that actually is geared towards limiting what people actually see due to the fact that some things are considered taboo and censored. We live in a society that will censor certain things, whether those are things of a body, physical nature, those are certain substances you can take, or those are other concepts that are considered too dramatic, taboo to be mentioned. We're in a society.
Political views,
I mean,
things.
exactly.
Tons of things. Yeah.
Tons of things. I mean, we also live in a society that tries to hide birth and death as much as possible. And for me, bringing those two concepts back into dialogue helps me live in the moment and be more truly embodied.
I'm curious, I don't know how much you want to go off script.
Oh yeah, very much.
Well, then you think, because I'm definitely with you that we hide death a lot, or at least like desensitize what it is. But you think birth is hidden as well?
Yeah, like my family is a little bit counterculture in the sense that my mother worked with a midwife and had two home births for my brother and sister.
Yeah. You didn't. No.
I was born in a hospital with a birthing center. And there was there was a jacuzzi, and we had a midwife, and
Jacuzzi, hell
yeah. I wasn't a water birth, but I have people in my network, friends who work as midwives, who point out the many ways in which culturally we hide birth relative to how it could be something that is like we share photos at certain times, but we do it in a clinical setting.
You mean like the physical process of birth itself?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And also there are many like attitudes towards it of like, so we're discussing the ways that our society does hide death, I think more so than birth too, as something which what is the default attitude? Someone's lying in bed and they are given a certain amount of time to live. Like, let's say this is someone who's near death, and the default attitude is, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like you show up and you and that was one thing that I really appreciate about learning about Ram Dass's Center for Conscious Dying, was that he and his organization invited people to not bring apology and projection of sadness onto people who
that's cool.
who were on their way at the portal towards death.
Yeah. Well, I hope that reminds me in a much less serious manner, but the comedian Dimitri Martin.
Yeah.
He has this joke that I love where he goes, at a funeral, everybody goes, "I'm sorry." But nobody goes, "And you shouldn't go, I apologize."
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should, depending on the context, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I'm sorry. It's like, for what did you do?
Yeah,
Is this a confession?
Exactly. Yeah. But no, it's I think about that a lot because I was telling Nico earlier, my mom was a hospice nurse, and how it's interesting now, only as I've gotten older, realizing how trippy that must have been to just be dealing with dead people, dying people all day, and then come home and it was just like, oh yeah, work was, whatever today. It was so desensitized to me, I think, because it was this sort of almost like clinical sterile work that she had, and how frustrated and tired she would be from the otherwise administrative and bureaucratic aspects of the job. That only now, as I've gotten older, I've come to ask her and talk to her. What was it like? I mean, you've been with so many people at their end of their life. What is that like? And the tons of beautiful moments, tons of nice moments. But she said that there are some people who, when they go out with fear, particularly of what ends up being some sort of like conditioning from a monotheistic perspective, hell, things like that. There's like a lot of people have that fear of their guilt and fear of bad things that they've done and things like that they're going to be punished for. And I think all that does make me realize how important it is to come to terms, like you were saying at the beginning of this, with all aspects of yourself and how everybody has that. Because I think like one of my biggest fear in life is to be at my dying days and have that sort of fear. One of the biggest fears. Yeah. So I think what you're talking about here is actually it's good, and it's it's people are. I'm happy to see that there's a movement of people starting to be more interested in how to die with
consciousness.
Yeah, sure.
It's like actually being conscious during it. And one of the beautiful invitations I love about what that center does, the Center for Conscious Living and Dying, is asking yourself, what if I thought of this as an experience that I'm going to go through? I mean, people spend thousands of dollars to go on experiential things, like far out, like let's take a submarine to the bottom of the ocean. Let's go spend all this money to go into space. It's like, whoa, what if like you're given this experience of like you're just going to go through a thing that no one's ever come back from, like you're going into a black hole, and you're doing it for free. You're not even paying anything.
Oh man,
far out.
It's definitely far out.
So that's a curious. I've noticed that again and again. That
although I would argue, that a lot of people are paying for it in extreme amounts of hospital bills. They're
paying potentially to delay it as long as possible.
Yes.
I mean, that's another thing where I think I'm feeling counterculture is recognizing that how much I have been conditioned to save money in order so that when I am frail and unable to offer society any value, I can keep myself alive.
Absolutely,
And I'm beginning to realize, like, if I can offer society no value, why would I even want to exist?
This is I'm constantly frustrated by this. I heard this recently. Something like the average American's medical bills, 80% of the medical expenses are reserved for their last month of being alive because of how much we're just extending.
Wow. It's like we're trying to spend so much in order to extend life at a point where it's the last month.
The quality of life is horrible.
Yeah.
And it burdens our healthcare system. It burdens everybody.
And that's a philosophical, I mean, that's at this point, this is not a technical decision. This is a philosophical decision that we're essentially reserving funds not for early life education, healthy food, metrics on early diagnosis of things that could have been caught early.
Yeah, totally.
We're delaying that till end of, and I think I'm in alignment with you that is a huge amount of resource waste, especially when it also burdens the person who's going through that portal.
100%.
To say like, whoa, we all think it's really not worth you going through. Right. It's going to be terrible. Right. And then they're like, yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
You're right.
Echo that. Totally. I think it's very well articulated. You're increasing the fear, and you're also putting this sort of stigma that you're doing something immoral to not force your life as prolonged as it should be.
You're doing something immoral to not somehow stick around, even when you're somehow not offering any more value to society. I definitely don't want to ever retire if I'm doing work that I feel like is offering value to society and is nourishing my soul.
Yeah.
And yet we see like this race towards retirement in a lot of people's careers, like there's like a motivation to retire young, at least in the financial independence, retire early movement.
Oh, sure, the fire. I know about the fire.
Yeah. I mean, I have a pretty, I would say, connected relationship to that movement. And,
that's cool.
And yet it's helped me realize, I actually care more about doing work that society values enough that I value enough that we can enter a balance point. Where I and society can be in consent. I want to do the work, they want to pay me, and then that's a beautiful balance point.
I think your dad actually does that really well.
Yeah, he was like, I was quoting like the elves from Rudolph, like, we all work all day, but our work is play.
Oh, nice.
He's like very much like in that mode with enjoying being a teacher at professor at a college.
Yeah.
Because he enjoys teaching and enjoys connecting with college students who want to learn from him.
Right.
Yeah. So that's been a deep dive into the shadow and also some of the ways in which we believe we're counterculture regarding the mainstream culture.
Yeah.
We actually were discussing as well, like, what is something that is like really fun but also like terrifying, and aren't those two kind of like the same idea, like excitement?
Right. Oh, you were saying, what was the Maori phrase, ride the lightning or something?
Oh yeah, there's this quote I love, which is like, fear is just excitement without breath. So like
like a roller coaster.
I mean, it's the reason that we love like genres like zombie horror,
sure.
all of that. It's like, fear is so exciting, and games can be exciting when they have like high risk. We were talking about a really fun game that we might want to play today. Is we have this spare bedroom in the Airbnb we're staying in right now. Yes. There's a spare bedroom in the Airbnb. We're like, we booked a bigger Airbnb than we need.
Nice bedroom.
Should we there's 8 of us staying here. Should we all have a quest to like each try to find the most trustworthy person that we can, who we think would be the best candidate to spend the night in that spare bedroom, and bring them all to dinner.
Yeah.
And then by the end of dinner, we decide who we think is the most worthy.
Every couple has to go find some friend in Berlin, in the city.
Be like, hey, we have a spare bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, you seem like a trustworthy person. I don't know why you don't have a place to spend the night already tonight. So it's kind of like, maybe we do like some social media advertising.
We could do something where every couple has to vote for the other person. You can't vote for your own.
You can't vote for the own person you bring to dinner. You would have to have some kind of. We have to make it a game.
Vote. We
have to structure this. I mean, this is game design. We'll have to structure a game so that like we can have a good way of rewarding a winner who like figured out in the constraints of the game how to like select the best person. I mean, there's some games that just like the design is so good, and I just crave them. Like, I've been craving playing like 20+ person capture the flag recently.
Oh, I love that as a kid.
I just want to like have a long rope that cuts a huge amount a diverse camp into, and then we have to try to go to the other side and find the flag. And
that would be fun.
So many kids are stuck in jail, and they're all like holding each other's hands to create a whole line out of jail. And then you have to race and get them and break them free from jail.
Did you guys play this in Williamstown growing up?
Yeah, we probably the last time I played a full game of Capture the Flag was at Camp Sarsaparilla, which was probably like, I was a counselor there until age 13.
Is this the one like up in Vermont?
Yeah, it's in Pownell, Vermont.
I think Sarrington.
Legendary summer camp.
That's cool.
But I've been like asking myself, how do I get Capture the Flag like type of energy back into my life?
I think it would, and I would be down to do this back in New York. Definitely get some group to do it in Prospect Park.
Definitely just recruit the right people and say, hey.
Yeah.
But what was fun specifically too about it, what I loved was that you could have all kinds of integration of different terrain into it. Like you'd be like, oh, there's a pond in the middle, and there'd be like one crazy kid who's like, he's swimming across the pond, and they're like, what side is he even on anymore? And and just like all of the wild different like stories that can occur.
Yeah, it's fun.
The kid who's like pretends he's not actually playing and is like secretly hiding behind a bush to wait to the one moment to go free the other kids from jail.
Yeah. Kick the can was a good one.
That's another good one.
A little simpler.
Yeah, one exercise I was invited to try, I haven't tried it, is like, if there's some like glorious feeling from childhood or some glorious like thing that I'm looking forward to, like if you're looking forward to this thing every year. Like a friend I was talking to this about, they used to be obsessed with Ren Fair, and they would look forward to like going to Ren Fair every year. It was like the highlight, getting ready for it the few months before, and then it happened. I know friends who are like, they treat Burning Man this way, and part of the exercise is like, what is so exciting about this like peak experience? Can we like dive deep in it and try to break apart the ways it makes us feel, and then try to bring those into our life without having to escape to get to it?
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to jump into that? Is there
Yeah,
anything that
sure.
like
No,
is
I mean,
for you is a peak experience like that you look forward to every year that you want to like maybe talk about channeling into your day to day?
yeah, I think big. Usually once a year, I try to go out of at least once a year. More than that, I try to go out of the city with musician friends of mine, bandmates or other ones. Honestly, to like my mom's house or some other person's like house or an Airbnb if we can get that and just record for the whole weekend or however long we get.
Yeah.
And I always look. Those are always like some of my peak experiences. But I think about that a lot. Where I think how much my relationship with music is escapist at times, and can that be dangerous? So what you're saying, if how do you take these things you look forward to and bring them into your life? Is I've started to get better at that.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Like, what is the like flavor of how that experience feels? If you want to get just
The
like,
flavor of it,
yeah,
like an actual flavor.
Like what's happening? Is there, or maybe it's more like something that you feel like metaphorically or actually feel in your body of like,
Yeah.
or in any archetype that you're like is getting fed by that.
I mean, it's funny when I think back about what I said about the independence of being a musician, where that might actually be more wrong way to put it now, because I love the community aspect of this, but it's community in like a very self-selected community. You know, it's like, okay, these are people. We all have this singular goal and mission here, and it's very playful. Because even though it's pretty serious work, there's a lot of tedious work.
Yeah.
Setting up the instruments, setting up the gear, doing like it's not. I don't think it's like what you might imagine, just like we're all jamming. It's not like jamming. It's like very goal oriented. But within those moments of kind of tedious recording and tracking and re-recording and retracking, lots of fun moments that are like it has a nice dichotomy of feeling very purposeful and I don't like it feels like accomplishing things in real time that I can like viscerally feel with then breaks of extreme playfulness and like running around outside and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of archetype that would be, but it's like the most present I feel in those sort of things. So I'm not thinking about anything else but this. We're coming together to work on music, and it's like it's very easy just for me to understand what it is I like about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's escapist in some means, but also what I think a lot of like modern therapy talk and stuff would say. I'm present,
You're present.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds kind of like I'm going to use my own fantasy background to be like, it sounds like you guys are like in this fellowship of the ring kind of thing.
Yes.
Like we're here, we're on this quest.
Yes.
And like when we're not like dealing with like intense hardship, we're actually like really able to enjoy the breaks because the breaks are in opposition to intense diligent work.
Absolutely. Yes, very well articulated. Yeah. So that's. But now, I try to have. I mean, I'm always sort of trying to do as much music as I can, but weave that into. It took me a long time to build a community in New York where I feel like I could access that in more readily accessible ways.
Yeah.
So that it ties into your lifestyle more. What about you? Do you have things you look forward to like that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the examples I gave was when I went to Burning Man, there was this feeling of immediacy, of like, holy moly, there are so many possible experiences in front of me, and I'm in this tension of like infinite possible experiences, yet anything I do, I want to be fully in and present because there's limited infrastructure, there's no phone, I don't know maybe where, unless I bring my water, I don't know where my next drink and food is coming from. So there's this also like, I'm in potential life and death presence situation. And like, a sandstorm can come through and you lose all visibility, and like if your cell phone battery dies, you don't know where you are in a sandstorm, and it's just like, and you have to have a face mask for that.
I don't know anything about what
dust storm.
Like you actually feel on the precipice of some sort of environmental disaster.
Yeah, and you feel the way. It's similar to how I felt when I landed in Svalbard. I went to the North Pole. Essentially, Svalbard's like 13 degrees south of the North Pole, but it's pretty close. And you land in an island where there are more apex predator polar bears than there are humans. And suddenly you're on Team Human versus Team Polar Bear.
Yeah,
and all humans, like, you can't lock your car. It's illegal to lock your car in Svalbard because at any point someone running from a polar bear may need to hide in a car.
Oh my God.
And so suddenly you're like, I'm on Team Human.
Yeah,
and you land there and you're like, every human I see, I'm like, what's up? How we doing in the fight against the polar bears?
This is like old hunter-gatherers must have felt all the time.
It shifted so much. It like shifted so much in me to be suddenly just on Team Human.
Interesting.
And to also recognize, hey, the closest hospital is 2-hour flight away. So like, if you are feeling messed up in any way, like, let us other humans know, because we don't want to like avoid. We want to avoid like that kind of emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's actually what a true hive mindset should be, right? That what's good for you, the other person is good for you.
Yeah, like, interesting to bring up hive, because at the same time there's a tension between, if you go into this kind of community where you're on a team, do you lose yourself in this kind of mindless control by the queen bee hive? I feel like you went right into the shadow of like this kind of communal thing. Is like, it's a hive. So what I also appreciated about Svalbard was that it actually felt relatively Wild West anachronistic. Actually, like a high amount of like individuality being expressed.
Okay.
Maybe because it was like, it's an international territory administered by Norway. So
I didn't know that.
So it felt like the most like, wow, it was like full of people from Southeast Asia.
Really?
They were like, the guys running the bar were 2 gay guys from Breton. I was like, you guys are French? Like, no, we're Breton. Like, we are done with France. We're
Celtic.
Yeah, we're straight up. We're from Brittany.
No way.
And like, they were like, I couldn't believe how much of an international melting pot this place was. And I've heard Antarctica is somewhat similar, that it collects people, it collects misfits from all over the world who want to just be in a kind of like human teammate tribal mentality with each other.
Wait, this is okay. I'm so fascinated about this. I didn't even know it was developed enough to have a bar. I thought it was just like camping huts that you.
Oh no, Svalbard has a city, Longyearbyen, that has, I think, homes for about 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Okay.
They have established like serious homes that the Norwegian government subsidizes, from my understanding, to be able to have a permanent base there. And what makes it also feel Wild West is that it has these kind of like mesa-looking geology. It's actually coal country. There was a whole amount of coal mining there, and there's like rotting wooden giant coal infrastructure. So it looks like, if you look in the background, it looks like you're in like Wild West but frozen mining town with like coal lines behind you. And you're in this bar, kind of like this saloon
almost
vibe, like frozen saloon.
Like the
aesthetic.
Rockies in the winter.
Yeah, like Arizona, but covered in ice and snow, and with polar bears, like frozen cowboy polar bear aesthetic.
I would rather watch these kind of Western movies. This would be an interesting one.
Like someone comes in out of like the dusty, like comes in the saloon, but they first have to take off their giant full body, full body suits to keep us warm in the
white polar bed. Jesus, what do they call it? The stuffing the animal.
Yeah, they had taxidermy of polar bears on the wall, and and reindeer too.
Right. Yeah. I love the reindeer stuff. Did you guys eat? Were they serving reindeer?
Yeah, we went into an ice cave, and our guide, when we came out of the ice cave, he was like, "I have freshly served like this warm kind of berry." This berry drink, this red drink that was very red and warm.
Lingonberry?
Something like, I'm not quite sure, but he also had a delicacy. He like put his little knife into it and cut thin slices of smoked reindeer hearts.
Cool.
That we were like, yeah, this is exactly what we want to eat right now after coming out from an ice cave that was about minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that was gone deep into exploring.
Just make it this a Svalbard.
Talking about Svalbard.
Talking Svalbard.
This is now a Svalbard episode. But maybe that's actually you. Now we can pivot this to like actually say, what about Svalbard did I love, and how can I bring that into my life?
Yeah, right. That's right.
Like what did it? It made me feel an instant connection when I saw another person walking by. Like we're on the same team. I'm looking out for you. Have you seen any polar bears recently? Are they around us? Like, how are we doing on this humans versus polar bears survival thing? Because I think that I think this polar bears killed someone in like 2021, and it's like they're dangerous.
Yeah. That team got 1 point.
Yeah, they got 1 point
4 years ago.
Like I was there for a ski race, and we had to have like the governor of Svalbard like in a helicopter do a little check first to make sure maybe it was a little bit kind of like medieval times, like they had the Lord like first like be like, you're ready to go, but it was kind of like that moment of like, okay everyone, we've said it's safe enough for us to do this. How do I? So I want to channel and call in. I want to call in the feeling of teammates, of seeing other people as teammates, and dropping away the feeling of we're competing for limited resources. And that's a difficult thing to call in when I also feel the tension of we're currently consuming 5 times what is estimated to be the carrying capacity of the Earth. We're about 5 times what we should be consuming if we want to be sustainably reaping what's happening from the planet. So,
well, some people are.
Right? If we average it out, and I would say as an American, it's very likely that even with technical improvements that we are already baking into our models, is very likely that my consumption is directly undermining what we could have from this planet. So I definitely think that is a scarcity mindset versus the abundance mindset of we're all on this team. So I think what I'm calling in is this feeling of we're all on this team between me and other humans and plant animal life, of also just saying, okay, there's a level of connection I could have with you. And also the aesthetic, the kind of closeness to life that closeness to death brings. Every time I step outside, do I have a guide with me who has a rifle? If you leave, there's a sign. If you leave a very small area in the middle of town, do you have a rifle?
Yeah.
And we couldn't leave certain areas without our guides. We would pay guides to come with us with rifles.
And they were Norwegian guides normally?
There was a German woman with a dog took us to explore some caves.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that too is almost, I'm calling in this closeness to recognizing death could come at any time and the presence that brings.
Yeah, that's a good, I would say, additional point for why not making death not taboo is important.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a call to presence.
Yeah, right. I think the disappearance or avoidance of birth and death, it's shadow banning, the banning, whatever it was, of birth and death, is very harmful from an ecological perspective when you think about it like that.